Sorry, this one is a little late, but I promised I would review this game. Cowboys and Commanders. God, I never get used to that name because we all know the Redskins is the real name. But did I jinx the 40 or the Commanders today? I don't think so, but I mean they haven't been playing well of late. Sure, they made a furious comeback at the end of the day, but at the very end, they still found a way to screw it all up. But let me know what you think down in the comments below, and let's go through this game because this game was a wild ride for sure. And it started off not in the best ways. I mean, Brandon Aubrey missed two field goals for the Cowboys. Siebert missed one for the Commies. Well, one of the ones by Aubrey was blocked, and it was just a not good game. I mean, for most of the first half, it was garbage, and Jayden Daniels couldn't get anything going. He did have that one rushing touchdown for sure, and again, him showing his legs, it's another one of those tools that he has that not a lot of other quarterbacks have. But at the same point, his passer rating has not been great these last couple of games. I mean, they've won. This is their third straight loss. He hasn't looked great. Sure, they came out in a furious way in the fourth quarter, but up until like the end of the third, Jayden Daniels was not doing anything besides that one rush. The defense, for the most part, for the Commanders held up until, like I said, until the end of the game. I mean, they kept Cooper Rush intact for most of the game, but Cooper Rush had a pretty good game. I think he only had, no, he didn't have any turnovers, and nearly had 300 passing yards, had two touchdowns. He looked pretty good today, all things considered. Rico Dowdle wasn't great, but he got the carries when he needed to. And above all, the special teams for the Cowboys was fantastic. I mean, go to the third quarter. I believe it was the third quarter. Um, Cavante Turpin bobbles the ball on the kickoff return. It goes all nearly back into the end zone. He takes it, goes up 20 yards, makes a wicked spin. He took the Commanders and put them in the spin cycle, and then he just charges forward and show why he's one of the fastest players in the NFL. Takes it all the way to the house. When that happened, I was like, this game is over. This game is over. It is completely over. There's no chance the Commanders win. But then the Cowboys defense again imploded like they have for most of the year. I mean, that touchdown to Terry McLaurin was unacceptable. You cannot allow the other opposing team's best wide receiver to get that open, and he still had 40 yards to go before he got to the end zone, and he still just carves his way through the Cowboys defense and scores a touchdown. But, of course, the Commies kicker fails them and misses the extra point. So now it's 27-26, and you're like, good God, this game is over again. And it truly was. It was over. There's only 20 seconds left. Even if the Commanders get the onside kick, what are the chances that they're able to bring it or take it and or go down the field for 8 points? But the Commanders defense does one better. So, onside kick goes to the Cowboys, and they take it back for a touchdown. How do you give up a touchdown on an onside kick? That's even worse than just missing the onside kick, which, like we all know in the NFL, is nearly impossible because the whole onside kick rules are stupid and backwards and need to be changed. Like, if you don't want people to do the onside kick, just give a team a chance to score and come back. Put them away, 4th and 30, at like the opposing teams like 45-yard line. Yeah, most quarterbacks would be able to make that throw. Give a one play, you have the 30 yards to gain to get a first down, and you either go for the end zone or you go for the first down and you still have time left over. But there needs to be a way for these teams to actually score. If you're not going to give the teams a chance to score and or come back on the onside kick, then give them a chance to score another way. It doesn't make sense to have the onside kick the way it is. The onside kick is not as dangerous as the NFL thinks it. It really isn't. They're just changing it. I don't know why they change it. It really makes no sense. I mean, were there that many big time injuries on the onside kick that you can nail down as reasons why we can't have the onside kick anymore? Is there any number of big reasons why? If there is, let me know in the comments below. I haven't done the research on that, but I would genuinely like to know how many big name injuries you had as a result of the onside kick. I'd be truly curious because the onside kick right now is just stupid. It's backwards, and like I said, it didn't help the Commanders at all anyway. I mean, again, they still gave up a touchdown on the onside kick, and after that, it was over. Now, Jayden Daniels still had a chance to throw the ball down the field. And again, he still ended up with a pretty good day, especially fantasy wise. Almost 300. Actually, I think he went over 300 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. He had the 1 interception, had the 1 rushing touchdown. So, overall, good fantasy day. But in terms of the NFL, like in reality, up until like midway through the fourth quarter, Jayden Daniels had just that 1 rushing touchdown, and his passer rating and just completion percentage were awful. I mean, he had like I believe he had just a little over 100 yards passing. Like that's not a great day, and people want to anoint him again. It's his second coming when it clearly looks like, based on the last couple of games and through the 3 quarters today, NFL defenses are catching up to Jayden Daniels. They're catching up on his what he does best, catching up on his tendencies, and realizing that he has an arm for sure, but is he the most accurate quarterback in the league? Not really. They have a chance to get him to throw into bad situations, force him into interceptions, and when he's not running the ball, he's kind of he's not a liability out there. He's just not as effective as he was earlier in the year when people said he's going to win the MVP. He's clearly not going to win the MVP. Offensive Rookie of the Year, sure, he still has a great chance to win that, but any talk of Jayden Daniels winning the MVP needs to go out the window. That's where it belongs. He's not going to win the MVP, and he doesn't deserve to win the MVP. He may be the best player on the team, but yeah, he's just not the MVP. But again, the Commanders have lost 3 games in a row, 3 very winnable games, and 2 divisional games, which is really bad. They need to be better. I mean, especially with teams like the Packers winning today. The Packers are one of those teams in the wild card race that the Commanders will now have to root against because, they're 7-5. The Packers are 8-3. So, I mean, the Commanders certainly still have a good chance to make the playoffs. Certainly better than the 49ers, which I talked about earlier in my last video. But I gotta be honest, Commanders are definitely not looking as strong as they were in the beginning of the year. But I do remember saying in a couple of videos that Jayden Daniels may look good at times, but in the end, people are going to catch up to him, and they're going to show that he's not as good as people think he is, and that if you take away his legs, he's just an above average quarterback with a pretty darn good arm, because he certainly does that. He has the arm talent, and he can make plays out there. But Cliff Kingsbury's coaching or offensive play calling has been, people have caught onto it, and it's just, it's not what it was in the beginning of the year. Their season is over by no means. They still have a great chance to go to the playoffs. I think their chances of winning the division are basically kaput now, unless the Eagles suffer another collapse like they did last year. I don't see them winning the division. I just don't. It's very pie in the sky right now. They certainly made a good effort today. That touchdown to McLaurin was absolutely fantastic. And if you had him in fantasy football, you were like, oh my God, my day is saved. Because up until then, he had like 4 catches for 15 yards. And then all of a sudden, 1 big bomb. And it completely changes your fantasy matchup. But again, 49 or the Commies certainly have some soul searching to do. They certainly need to get a win next week. I didn't check to see who they play next week, but they do have the Eagles coming up very soon. If not next week, no, it's not next week. Next week it's Philly versus Baltimore, which is going to be a really good game. and will probably be on the choices for games for me to review or preview and review next week, along with the Packers game. But Cowboys certainly definitely stopped the skid today. They played well. Their defense was pretty good at times. Rico Dowdle, not the best running back in the world, but he made the plays when he needed to. And Cooper Rush, for all the saying that people say he's a bad quarterback, he still has the ability to have a good game here and there. And today, certainly, he played up to it. You know, the Cowboys played up to expectations, or played above expectations, because a lot of people probably thought that the Commies were going to dominate them. I certainly was one of them, and it was pretty clear that, or after the first quarter, that this game was going to be a low-scoring affair. Turned out to be more high-scoring than we thought, but I mean, those first two quarters, or first three quarters of this game were really hard to watch. Really hard to watch, and man, the Commies certainly have to get better. But like I said, the season's not over. They still have Terry McLaurin. It certainly didn't help that Brian Robinson went out of the game early. That cut down on a lot of their best rushing opportunities. But even then, they weren't really running the ball very good against the Cowboys to begin with, which is really sad considering how terrible the Cowboys are stopping the run at times. But Cowboys are in the win today. Commies definitely need to get better. Certainly need to look at their schedule forward and play better. Otherwise, they could play themselves out of the playoffs very quickly because they're ahead of the 49ers right now. But, if they continue losing, they could find themselves out, and the 49ers could find themselves in. So, let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you're a Cowboys fan or a Commies fan, let me know if I did a good job at representing your team. But, again, the Commanders' defense is not great. I mean, they have some decent players on the defensive line and a secondary piece or two, but I mean, not even that. Their secondary is terrible, absolutely awful, and they got beat today. They got flat out beat today, and I think their special teams coordinator needs to look in the mirror because giving up 2 return touchdowns, 1 on the onside kick is it's not good. It's certainly not good and could be emblematic of a firing at the end of the year. Hopefully not. I'm not wishing for that, but, it's a really bad game today. On all accounts, certainly Jayden Daiels made a good comeback, but let me know what you think down below. Have a great day, and as always, go Pack Go, and God bless.